Oh, my secondary school as well. I've never seen it in a long time.
Just 1 second. I just want to mute everyone.
There should be a mute all.
Yeah, I did, but I can't seem to mute. The one person is not getting muted. Olu Wafemi. Okay, but it's quite good. Okay, great. Let's get this ball rolling. Let me just double check that it is being recorded. Great. Well, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the training that we have in this Thursday. It's the first of the leadership training that we have planned. So please take note. This training would be held every Thursday. Olu Wafemi, please, can you put yourself on mute? There's some background noise coming from your computer. Thank you very much. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to become an MLM leader. It's the first part of our training. And I want you to take note of what I've written on the right-hand side. It basically says, this is a note to myself that I repeat quite often. It basically says, you got to do this for you. This is for you. This isn't about anybody. Live for you, honor you, and never lose sight of that. Okay, so let's live by that rule and follow that as much as possible. Okay, so before we get into it, who is an MLM leader? If you're not sure of the answer, maybe just scribe something down on your notepad or so, and you can just concur and check if your answer is correct as well. Okay, so who is an MLM leader? It's someone who creates leaders and not followers. Now, if you follow Facebook, etc., you'll see there's a button called followers. Well, those are followers. Do you want to be in that category, or do you want to be a leader? So you want to be a leader so that other people can start following you. And when they start following you consistently, you want to convert those followers into a leader. This is what it's all about. And in the multi-level marketing industry, leaders sustain your business, not followers. So very, very importantly to note. I'm going to be sharing some tips with you this evening. Now, the first tip I'm going to talk about is vision. Now, remember, if you do not have a powerful vision, if you cannot see into the future or see yourself being at a certain point, a day down the line, 2 days down the line, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, you're not going to have any direction on where you want to actually go, right? So it's very important that you visualize where you want to be. For example, a week ago, I was due to go to Europe. I didn't have no passport, I didn't have a flight booked, nothing. On the Monday, I started visualizing myself being in Belgium. I said, okay, let me just do what it takes. You know, the famous saying is, you do what it takes. I got on to the visa people, and lo and behold, normally you don't get a visa within 5 to 10 working days. I had my visa done in 3 days because I visualized myself being in Belgium and being part of a workshop there. So it's very important for you to visualize yourself. I'll give you an example. You want to be a leader. You want to be in front stage presenting to thousands of people, right? You want to be leading people. You want to be having your Lamborghini or so parked outside your house. These are all visual things that you need to take into account. Now, leadership training is very important as well because it really has the capacity to translate your vision into reality. Now, Tasmin will tell you about this as well because I know she visualizes this certain car that she's dreaming about, and I know she'll get there because her vision is powerful. Okay? So the second tip we want to talk about is something called Hilo Alex Plus. Now, why it's important to talk about this topic here as a leader? You got to know your product. So it's very important that you understand your product because you don't want to be encountered where a person walks to you and says, you got your Hilo Alex on, what does this do? And you suddenly go into a silent kind of spasm and you're wondering, wow, what do I tell this person? You got to be able to speak off your toe. You got to speak immediately or speak off your feet, and you need to answer them and tell them, it reads my blood pressure, it counts my steps, It does. It's going to be doing my glucose reading. You got to be on par. This has 3 hours. Well, this has 4 days of battery life, and it takes me 3 hours to charge it. So you got to be talking about your product with passion. You got to know your product. So do yourself a favor, get into your back office or get in touch with your upline and learn your product at the same time. Just give me a second. I just want to mute whoever's come on now. Okay, great. Okay, yes. So like I'm saying, you got to know your product. It's very, very important as a leader, especially as an MLM leader. Understand your product all the time. Okay. Next tip, we speak about this all the time, and I'm so happy that Maxwell has said today, you know what, it's 3 minutes after 9, let's get the show on the road. Time is money, folks. Time really is money. You need to be dedicated to starting meetings on time, because if you think about it, if you're going for an interview for a job that's paying 200,000 Rand a month or $20,000 a month, you're going to make sure you're there 15, 20 minutes earlier. So it's very important. Sorry, when you join the call, just mute yourself, please, so that I don't have to keep going back to mute, because it really obstructs or disturbs the routine. Okay, so all I'm saying is you got to have a daily routine, and you have to be dedicated to it as well. Once you're dedicated to your daily routine, your job as a leader is to pass this or create a similar routine for your team. Okay, because remember, at the back of your mind, your team, you want to convert them into leaders at the same time, so that they can go out there and create more leaders, and we create this massive leadership in the countries that we do have. So it starts with small changes. They do make a massive impact. One of the small changes I can tell you now that makes a good impact is starting on time. Once starting on time becomes part of your routine, you will make sure that you will always be on time. It'll become a natural thing for you. Okay, so time management is really important, and like we always say, time really is money. Number 4, you gotta keep training your team. You gotta keep motivating them. One of the things I do on a daily basis is I motivate myself. I listen to at least 2 motivational videos on my way to work in the train, so that by the time I get to the office, I'm on a high and I know my day is gonna be going really, really well. And I do the same thing in the afternoon as well before I get to bed, because it's going to keep me on a high, and I'm going to wake up the next morning on the same high. So it becomes a complete routine for you. So get into the habit of motivating your team and training them. If you look at the group that we all belong to, Mobology is very fond of this. He's always posting motivational stuff. He's always posting good stuff for every single one of us in the group to go and listen to those videos or read anything that he's putting on there as well. One of the other things you need to get rid of is, and I'll be blatantly honest with you, anybody that's unproductive in your team and who shows no interest in actually growing, we cannot focus our energy on them. You got to focus your energy on the team members that are really committed to their success and who are contributing to their success at the same time. The unproductive team members, what they would do is they will see that the other members are pulling weight or becoming successful, and gradually they will come back into the leadership group and they'll want to grow as well. Okay, so remember, a good MLM leader can handle disappointments and overcome failures and produce solutions at all the time. Produce solutions all the time. So let's keep motivating ourselves. Let's keep training our brains. Even as a leader, you got to develop yourself all the time. You got to up your skills. You got to learn something so that you can pass it on to your team and make them into leaders at the same time. Number 5, this is what the MLM coach Eric Worre says. It's not about what works, it's about what duplicates. Now, if you think about the industry we are in, the MLM business is a duplicatable industry. Okay, so in this picture here, I'm sure we will find Ed Mercer and Maxwell somewhere in these pictures here, because I remember they were part of MLM Nation as well. So we need to duplicate our business, and as leaders, we have the ability, we have the authority to do this, because what we're going to do is every skill that we're going to have, we're going to transfer these skills to our team, which means we're going to duplicate success. Okay, so that was tip number 5. We will open it up at the end for questions, so you're welcome to note your questions down at the same time. Tip number 6, learning is a never-ending activity. Now, I cannot say this enough. no matter what age you are or where you are in your life, we learn on a daily basis. Yes, we learn lessons on a daily basis. How about learning something that's going to move us to another level? How about reading a bit more? Reading positive books, reading books about leadership, reading books about MLM, reading something about your company or your business. You always need to be educating yourself, right? You got to keep yourself at that level so you remain on this level. This level I'm talking about is not a level that's down here. It's a level at there. You've got to be on top of your game at all the time, right? So always have a set time for learning every single day, like every single leader that does it. Cannot stress it enough. Like I said, keep educating yourself. It is key to your success. I cannot be educating you. I can try and educate you, but the onus is up to you to grab whatever I'm teaching you and to use it at the same time. Okay. Number 7, get better at presenting and speaking. Now, I know a lot of people that are on this call this evening were at some stage a bit scared about presenting and speaking to a bigger audience, but here they are. They're actually doing it, and they're going out there today and they're actually doing it. So it's very important that as a leader, you got to learn how to present. If you need any tips or want any advice on how to present, you can speak to the leaders that are on this group, on this call this evening, and we'll happily guide you. Now, this guy here, he didn't get this by sitting back and relaxing, right? He had to become a leader. He had to school himself. He had to educate himself so that he can start talking to the masses out there. I mean, this was taken recently in Nigeria when he was touring. So he did not start presenting just like that. He had to eventually grow into it. But he took the bull by its horns and he decided that he wanted to become a leader and he wanted to share the word wherever he goes about what he's actually doing, what he's achieved in life. So this is our brother Maxwell down there, and he can tell you stories on how he actually got to that point as well. Like myself, I wouldn't say I was never one for speaking, but you would not find me on a Thursday night at 9 p.m. South African time presenting to leaders throughout the world. But I do it now because my level has picked up. We'll always talk about this level and how we're going to grow. Okay, so I have some powerful words that I want to share with you. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is something from Jim Rohn. And he says, if you do something long enough, a ratio will appear. What you lack in skills, you make up in numbers. So very important, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to learn fast, fail forward fast. Remember, we all have to go through the failure moment. It's how we pick ourselves up and start growing, which makes the difference. So don't stay down. Even if you're staying down, make sure you're looking up because that's where you want to be, right? You want to grow up. You don't want to lie down all the time. So fail and learn and then get better all the time. Also, constantly associate yourself with other leaders, other positive leaders out there, and learn from them, learn the skill from them, see what they have to offer. I can tell you now, I've learned a lot from Ed Mercer, from Maxwell, from Balaji, from Tasmin, all the leaders that have been pulling weight around. We learn from each other, and it's very important. So set high standards and have high expectations for yourself. Do not set yourself small targets because small targets are very easy to achieve. Set yourself difficult targets so that you can push yourself to get to that point. Okay? So remember this, if the leader gets soft, his followers will become very weak as well. So when his followers become very weak, how are you going to convert them into leaders? It's going to be a harder job for you. So rather stay as a leader, stay as a assertive, hard worker so that your team can grow from it as well. So I just wanted to talk about leadership this evening and just give you a quick insight. We have these meetings at 30 minutes, so apologies if I had to rush through it as well, but it gives us more time to talk to each other. And at this point, I want to open it up to a question and answer session. So I think we'll start off with getting some words from Ed Mercer. I see him on. So let me just unmute Ed. We can hear a few words from him before we move to Maxwell. Hey, Ed, can you hear me?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Ed. Good.
Your training today basically is like you say, it's all about is all about your association with others, right? And you're talking. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
You're talking about listening to the motivational tapes every day. For years and years and years and years, you're not familiar with Canada, but someone will say, "How far is it to Toronto?" I say 2 tapes. How far to Windsor, Ontario? I say 5 tapes. So, because I knew exactly how many tapes it would take, because I listened to tapes probably 1,000 times. I sometimes I wore out a tape, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that in order to be a leader, you must be a reader. I read, not every day, that would be an exaggeration, but I do read at least 1 book a month. Maybe that's not a whole lot. Maybe I should be reading more. But I do read 12 to 15 books a year. And now, it's not just reading a book, it's the quality of it's the learning process. And what type of books do I listen to? I listen to Joel Osteen, the pastor. I listen to John Maxwell. I only listen and read about people that are successful, and then mostly that are Christians on top of that. And they're out there to help people, to show them how to have a better life. And so it's money. Money is just a byproduct of all the good things that you do. Money is great. It's fantastic. But the time we there's one thing we have. We can make money, but we can't make time. So the time that we have, it has to be valuable. The time that we have to go out there and make it work. I mean, someone says, I put in 8 hours work today. And I says, well, that's okay. You put in the time. But what did you do with that 8 hours, right? Yeah. Did you sit around and have idle conversation? So it's not just based on conversation, it's based on documentation. Okay, what did you do today to move forward to the next level? And like you say, as far as the leader goes, a leader don't bring on followers, a leader duplicates and brings on more leaders. And in order to do that, you need to if you tell someone to do something, if you haven't done it yourself, they're not going to listen to you. Right? Yeah. You always have to lead by example, and people will only do what you do. If you're late to go on a call, they'll be late to go on the call. If you don't show up at a meeting, they're not going to come to the meeting. If you don't bring guests, they're not going to bring guests. You're their mentor. They look up to you, right? And so you've heard this a million times, but the speed of the leader is always the speed of the pack. I'm on the call every day, no matter what. If I'm driving or whatever the case may be, if it's 30 below zero in Canada, I'm on the call, and the whole thing is it's a habit. Being late is a habit. Being on time is a habit. So I always make sure that I'm always on time. So really important. If you have an appointment and you show up late, that you're showing that the person that you think their time is more valuable than yours. So the key thing is always be on time for your appointments. Always do what you say you're going to do, and just move forward from there. But your training today was very, very precise, very, very simple, very easy for everyone to follow.
Yeah. Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much, Ed. Really appreciate that, and your words of encouragement as well. As always, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Right. Okay, we're going to go to Maxwell now.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Fantastic. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, Max.
Awesome. Let me try to show myself. So fantastic. Straight to the point, training everyone on this call. I believe you grab 1 or 2 stuff from that training. So real quick, just to add to today's training, there are 4 big points I really want to point out, and if you really take notes of this point, it's really going to help you. It has changed my life. It has changed the way I operate. So this is a very solid point on and this is based on Nolan's training today. So there are 2 types of leaders. 2 types of leaders. If you can take note, one is the one that wants to be needed. That's the first kind of leader. Wants to be needed. This kind of leaders produce followers. You know why? Because they always want to be needed. They want you to call them and they feel like the boss solving all the problems in the world. These are the people you go to for every single thing that moves. The leader, the second type of leader, this is the kind of leader I want to be, is the leader that wants to be succeeded. I want to empower you so you can empower other people. I don't want to be needed by everyone on this team. I want to empower everyone on this team so that they can be succeeded and they can create more leaders. Leaders that want to be needed create followers. Leaders that want to be succeeded create leaders. I don't have to be on this call for this call to be successful. Some people enjoy it. Oh, if I'm not on the call, nothing goes on right. That's a wrong mentality. We want to be succeeded in everything we do. And lastly, the next two types of leaders. One, I know you guys that are taking my training must have heard me say this. One is the travel agent, and the other one is the tour guide. Now, when you want to book your flight to Brussels, Nolan, for example, you call the travel agent, he directs you, he books your ticket, he sends you to a place he has never been.
Yeah.
That's the kind of leader some people are, right? I want to come to the U.S. He hasn't been to the U.S., but he's going to book your ticket and send you to the U.S. Some leaders are like that. They're sending people to destination they haven't been. They want you to become a team builder, yet they're still a family pack. But the kind of leadership we want is the one of a tour guide. They take you, when you get to the U.S., they take you around. This is that. This is a fantastic location. This is this, because they already know the location. So we don't want to be that travel agent. We want to be that tour guide. We don't want to be needed. We want to be what? Succeeded. And for you to be succeeded, there has to be some kind of empowerment going on. You got to empower your people. Like I always say, you're not a salesperson. When you bring people into this business, you're not a salesperson. A salesperson sells the product and they're gone. We're not. We're carrying people. We train them. We build them. We take them to the next level so they can have what it takes to build the next person. And that being said, Nolan, I'm going to pass it on to you so you can pass it on to the crowd. Let us, one, be succeeded. Let us become tour guides and not travel agents. And back to you, Nolan.
Awesome. Thank you, Maxwell, for those kind words. Really appreciate it. Okay, so let's see who is doing over. Okay, let's go over to Tasmania in South Africa. Cordelia, are you?
Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? There's a lot of noise in the background.
Just 1 second, Tasmin. Give me a second.
Hey, Nolan, can you mute all?
Yes, 1 second. Okay, great. Okay, Tasmin, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, Nolan, for the presentation. Always inspiring every time you guys come on and you motivate us over and over and over again. I must say all the tips that you have actually noted, which I've also noted, it's one of the things that each and every one of you guys has been teaching us, and through Maxwell, through Ed and yourself. And hearing these things come from you, it helps us to remind us of why we're here, what we're doing every day. Are we doing the things right? And you know, a lot of us, I think most of the new people that have joined now, they've obviously seen what we are capable of, what the team is capable of, especially with Maxwell being in Nigeria and the events that you guys went to. This is the fire of the business. This is the team of, in the business that is making things happen. And, you know, I really do find it true when you say that we are not salespeople. We are here to duplicate. So to mimic what you guys have taught us to do, not to sell the product, but to show the product, know your product, That is the most important thing, is to know your product. If you don't know your product, then you're not going to be able to explain it to somebody else. You're not going to be able to show them the importance of it, especially if you don't have one. So if you don't have a product yet, get one of them. Be able to get out there. It makes it so much easier. Believe me, I battled for a couple of months because I ended up trying to be a salesperson and it just did not work. I got frustrated and annoyed. And having to try to explain to people, like, you know, this is what it does. They want to see that you're using it. So you have to be a product of your product and be able to explain it. So product knowledge is one of the biggest things that I took out of this as well. And especially with time management, if you don't have a daily routine, I mean, check out Nolan, check out Mobilaji, check out Maxwell. Every single day they're posting on Facebook, they're posting in the group, they motivate us, they keep us going, they tell us what they're up to, how they're doing it. And, you know, that is one of the big things, that if us as leaders don't do that, then how are we going to get people that are going to, you know, stay in the game and be motivated to do things? So I really appreciate that for you guys doing that all the time. And one of the things is, like, whenever you get really down and you feel like, I don't know where to start and where to go, this is the training that you should listen to again. This is a training that will motivate you, that will get you back in the game, that will get your creative juices flowing and start doing things. I mean, Nigeria made a big impact. I was so proud of you guys, and watching you guys, you know, it was amazing at the amount of work and hard time and money and effort that you put in. And look how much it's paid off. Look how much it's still paying off, and you guys are doing brilliant things. So, you know, it takes looking at other people doing what they do and duplicating, as well as motivating and looking at how they're doing it, and come up with your own creative ideas to make things work for you. So Nolan, thanks for the training. I really did take a lot out of it. There's a whole lot more that I can say. You guys know I talk too much, but this is one of the recordings that I'm going to keep as a motivation, so that whenever I get stuck, I'll definitely listen to it again. So thanks so much for this, Nolan. Much appreciated.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tasmin. Thanks for your input. It's always appreciated and always welcome as well. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go over to Nigeria, to Mobology. So let me see. Mobology, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Hey, how you doing, man?
you loud. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm doing great. Wow, wow, wow. What an awesome training. Short, precise, and straight to the point. Uh, I got so many points from you, Nolan, you know, but in summary, these are going to put it. We are all networks of energy. We are all networks of energy. We need to rub minds. We need to associate more. We need to socialize more, like a video that Ed sent to me recently. The more we socialize, the more we push each other forward. Like when I was coming back from work today, I had to stop by a friend, and he was like, how is it going to start? I told him, all you need to do is start. Start listening, start becoming confident, start mixing with the right people, start showcasing your product, start motivating yourself, start welding your wheel. It all boils down to the word start. Just start, start, start. By the time you start, you'll be amazed how far you've gone by the time you look behind yourself. And there's something I love so much that Nolan mentioned. He said that if you look around you, focus your energy on those people that are fired up. Okay? And that boils down to what Romacio do preach. Rather than you spend 100 minutes on one single person, turn it around and spend 1 minute on 100%. Okay? So channel your energy on where the energy is, and you're going to get a nuclear bomb. And guess what's going to happen at the end of the day? By the time those people that are left behind realizes what is happening, they will all want to play catch up. And like we all do, we're a family, we want, we'll always be there to support each other. So this is an amazing training. This is an amazing training. I love it so much. I love it so much. I feel this can actually be shared to the wide world. You know, I'm just so happy about this movement, about this family. And one thing I keep saying, it's all about the mindset. once you get the mindset right, every other thing will fall into place. Once you get the mindset right, every other thing will fall into place. I repeat the third time. Once you get your mindset right, every other thing will fall into place. So thank you so much, Nolan. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tesman, and everyone on the call.
Great.
Back to
Awesome
you,
stuff,
Nolan.
Mubalaji. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your words of encouragement to everyone as well. Okay, so I'm not sure who else wants to say something. I don't know. I think Cordelia was trying to say something. So Cordelia, I'm going to unmute you. Let me just, okay, here we go. Hi, hi, Cordelia, can you hear me?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, you weren't going to say anything?
No.
Oh, okay. But, you know, like I said in the training.
Yes, but I was not going to say anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like.
Sorry, we cannot.
I said I'm just joining in. I'm just trying to.
Okay, no problem.
I said I'm just trying to catch up. I just came. Yes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much, Cordelia.
Welcome.
Okay, I think let's go to Francisca because I know she's been very active in the call. So, hey, Francisca, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Thank you so much, Nolan, for this impactful presentation. Yeah, I have always understood that for you to go far in this kind of business, you need to build leadership, and you just nailed it again this evening. Leadership is very, very important. You know, duplicating yourself, because the truth is it's a teamwork. You can't do it all alone. So you need to create like-minded people. But the most important thing is this: if you are not committed to this cause, if you are not passionate about it, if you are not focused, it means that you're going to produce your likes, because you definitely produce your likes. Those following you would do what you do. So it's important that you first of all catch the vision, be passionate, be committed to the cause, be committed to what you're doing, and you'll be able to duplicate same within your team. Thank you so much. And you also talked about focusing on those that give you results. You know, It's about time we stop working scatteredly, but channel our efforts. I would always say that I would prefer to give 80% of my time to 20% of those that will give me results, and then give 20% of my time to the rest. So I channel 80% to 20 that gives me the results, because I know that at the end of the day, I would get optimum results from that group, instead of just scattering my efforts. So it's important to keep strategizing, and then once you realize where you're getting the best results, then you focus there. It doesn't mean you leave the rest, but you still focus 20% on the rest. At the end of the day, you are getting 100% results. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I know that it's just the beginning for us in this business. It's not about time to quit.
Yep.
And I don't believe anyone here is about to do that, because according to what Bill Gates said, he said the success of any business is going where the future is going. We're in the right business, we're in the right opportunity, and the sky remains, how do I put it? The sky is just the limit.
Yeah.
The sky is just the limit if you are ready to fly with this. Thank you so much, everyone.
Great.
Thank you, Nolan.
Thank you very much, Francisca. I really appreciate it. So we are also 37 minutes into our call. So I'm going to take one more caller, or one more feedback from one more. And I think it's Francis that's unmuted. So Francis, if you want to say something, you're welcome to. If not, we can move on. Okay. Okay, I don't see anyone. So Thank you once again for joining the call, ladies and gentlemen, or shall I say leaders on the call. Really appreciate your call, your time this evening as well. And like we said, these leadership calls are going to be held every Thursday, and we're going to keep it to 30 minutes as well. We're going to keep it straight to the point, and we can deal with some questions after that as well. I want to leave you with one thought before you go, and always remember this: if it's to be, it's up to me. Okay, so if it's to be, it's up to me. So in saying that, I'd like to wish you a good evening, a good morning, and a good afternoon wherever you are. The recording will be posted shortly as well. So thank you, everyone, and cheers for now.
All right, thank you, Nolan.
Bye.
Everyone, good night.